At the beginning of the film, we observe a woman driving her children to school. Sandy wishes her daughter well on her test, after which she sprays antiseptic on her hands. The woman then turns to Frank, who reminds her of the disc from the birthday party. The boy says he really needs it for his project. After seeing the children off, a content Sandy returns home, listening to music loudly in the car. At home, the woman puts dinner in the oven, after which she decides to sit down at the computer. Remembering her son's request, Sandy watches a video from his birthday party. A woman suddenly discovers a strange file in her video folder. After looking through it, Sandy realizes that her husband has cheated on her with Molly. The woman decides to take the children and start her life over. In order to definitely erase the past, Sandy decides to go to the city. The woman is amazed that her daughter Sadie keeps talking about divorce. However, the hotel employee assures that according to various books, this is completely normal behavior. Sandy decides to get a prestigious job to provide for the children. At the same time, the main character talks to the parents. Aram tries to convince them that he likes his job at the cafeteria. Meanwhile, Sandy almost gets turned down for a job. The woman explains that she knows how to work with statistics. Because of the children, Sandy left her office job for a while, but she was still included in the analyses sometimes. As proof, the woman shows her expertise in creating statistics. Aram is going through a difficult breakup and decides to find additional work. Having experience in studying women's psychology, he decides to work in a women's club. After the job interview, Aram returns to the cafe for work. His mate Maverick thinks that the guy's ex-girlfriend, who came from France, only wanted a green card. Soon, Sandy and her children walk into the cafeteria. The woman learns that there is a small flat for rent above the cafe. Maverick decides to accompany Sandy upstairs and mentions that Aram is great with kids. The woman settles into the flat and goes to work out with Daphne. A friend is amazed that Sandy has been able to get her life together so quickly after her divorce. Daphne suggests a woman go on a date with her attending physician, who lives in a country house. Sorting out her things, Sandy is very nervous, but reminds herself that she has to get through this. After picking up her children from school, the woman says she's going out on a date and hopes they don't mind. After a date with a strange man, Sandy decides to join together with kids for a self-defense class at a women's club. The whipping boy in a funny costume turns out to be none other than Aram. At the end of the class, the instructor says that inside every woman there is an ocean of rage. It builds up when they are betrayed, humiliated, deceived, or treated as inferior beings. The teacher invites volunteers to come forward and vent their ocean of rage. Sandy is called forward. Looking at the guy, the woman imagines that she is venting all the accumulated resentment against her husband. The combative Sandy then pounces on him, showing a veritable ocean of rage. At the end, the woman cries, and Aram comforts her. Soon, the guy meets Sandy at a cafe. As an apology for shouting and assault, the woman gives Aram an indoor flower. Also, remembering Maverick's words, Sandy offers the guy to be her nanny and look after the children. Aram is a little nervous, but then agrees. The woman says that she is going on a date at 7 o'clock on Thursday, and someone needs to be with the kids. The day of the meeting arrives. Aram witnesses a family quarrel. Sadie performed a little operation on a rodent, which upset and angered her mum. The offended girl runs off to her room while Frank watches TV. Sandy is nervous for the date, but the guy says she looks great. On the date, everything is going great, as the doctor charms the woman and lavishes compliments on her. However, his sudden trip to the loo and the odor that spreads is somewhat repulsive to Sandy. Meanwhile, the guy is having a great time playing console games with Frank while Sadie observes them. However, the girl often criticizes Aram, calls his work nonsense, and generally behaves sarcastic. In the restaurant, Sandy finds the doctor's touches strange, but with a couple of deft movements, he corrects her neck and relieves the tension in her shoulders. At home, Frank gets sick from a large amount of chocolate. Meanwhile, a doctor harasses Sandy in a taxi, causing her to jump out into the street. At home, the woman drinks and complains about her life to Aram. The next morning, the guy goes to work and talks to a friend. Aram begins to think about responsibility when Frank and his sister run into the cafe screaming that their mom is dead. The guy panics and goes up to the flat, but realizes that Sandy has a simple hangover. The woman wakes up and asks Aram to drive the children to school and then pick them up after lessons. At work, Sandy is summoned by her boss. The woman thinks she will be fired. However, Laura offers her a promotion instead. The boss is impressed with the collection of statistics Sandy has created. Laura also decides to take the woman to yoga sometime. After receiving the promotion, Sandy shares the news with her children and her nanny. The woman learns of Aram's recent dismissal and offers him a full-time job by her. The boy accepts and shares the news with his parents. However, the married couple is shocked because Aram went to school and college to work as a nanny. The boy is sure that he will be able to make the world a better place because Sandy and her family need support now. His parents agree with Aram's temporary job, but demand that he look for something better at the same time. The guy wanders through interviews, but his thoughts are occupied only with fun activities with children. Sandy, on the other hand, gets more free time, starts going to yoga, and works enthusiastically at her new position. The woman doesn't like the men Daphne chooses for her. A friend suspects that Sandy is in love with the guy who cares for her children, but she denies everything. One day, the woman has a major backlog at work. Sandy returns very late, and as a thank you, gives the guy 2 tickets for boxing at the weekends. Learning that the woman will also be free, as her father is coming to pick up the kids, Aram invites her to watch the boxing together. Sandy has fun, and says that she couldn't enjoy life with her husband so much. The woman is also surprised to learn that Aram refused a prestigious job. The guy explains that children and people are more important to him than positions and status. After the boxing, at which Aram gets a small injury, the woman brings him to her house and thanks him for the evening. At that moment, Sandy's ex-husband enters the flat. The man looks jealously at Aram and speaks disparagingly to him. Left alone with Sandy, her ex-husband offers to start all over again. The woman tries to say everything, but can't muster the strength. Out of the children's room, the guy cheers Sandy up. The woman still cannot cope with her anxiety, and then Aram reproduces the rant he heard at the women's club during the eruption of an ocean of rage. Towards the end, Sandy herself starts yelling at her husband and chases him out of the flat. After that, the woman suggests to Aram to go out together. In the morning in the cafe, the guy talks about the upcoming date. Maverick reminds that tonight he is performing at the theater. Aram has to go to a strange performance together with Sandy. The performance turns out to be rather boring and tires the audience. However, afterwards, Sandy praises Maverick to cheer him up. Encouraged by his success on stage, the guy suggests going to a club and celebrating his debut well. During the party, Sandy, together with the guy, decides to dance. Aram retreats to the bar and unexpectedly runs into his ex-girlfriend. The guy refuses to meet Liz again. Upon returning home, Sandy thanks her friend for babysitting. The woman lies that they already had something with Aram, after which she sees her friend off. The guy waiting in the corridor runs into the flat and kisses Sandy. However, at that moment they are caught by Frank. The next day at the bowling alley, the kids pester Aram with questions. Sandy is playing sports with a friend and says that she and the guy are having more than just a fling for a couple of days. Daphne reminds her that the guy is still very young and a woman can get badly burned. Soon, Aram celebrates his birthday and invites Sandy and the kids to attend. He thanks his parents and the woman for the gifts and continues to pretend that Sandy is only his employer. However, the couple's relationship is actually taken to the next level. Sandy hires a new nanny just to go out with her boyfriend. The woman also invites Aram to an informal dinner with her coworkers. Sandy enjoys the relationship with the guy, who says he has never felt so alive before. After a while, the woman suddenly realizes that she is pregnant. Aram is thrilled with this news. He is ready to raise one more child. The couple goes to the doctor and learns that the pregnancy turned out to be ectopic. The doctor comforts Sandy and tells her that she will still be able to have children. On the street, a woman arranges a quarrel, saying that Aram's maturity is ostentatious. Sandy is sure that they have no future together, and what happened at the doctor's office has opened her eyes to this. Aram packs up his belongings and leaves the woman's house. Years go by. The guy travels a lot and sees different parts of the world. Sandy becomes quite successful in her work. Aram gradually realizes that he would like to help children from other countries. 5 years after their breakup, the couple unexpectedly meets in a cafe in New York. Aram tells them that he has traveled a lot and even adopted a boy. Sandy shares her successes in return. Her children have achieved a lot in their studies and sports. The woman herself has continually received promotions and just recently got the place of hosting a new show on the channel. Sandy stopped by the cafe with her children and her boss to celebrate such a good career move. Having met Aram's son, the woman learns that he is raising the boy alone. Sandy invites the boy to her table with his family. While the children play on the phone and the adults chat, the woman exchanges loving glances with Aram. The couple realizes that their feelings have not cooled down during their breakup, but have rekindled with new vigor. Aram takes the woman's hand and looks at her with a smile, intending never to part again for a long time. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.